Have you noticed how time seems to slow down when it comes to our parents? We all remember them as strong dad fixing the porch every summer, mom's pies bringing the whole family to the table. But one day, you catch yourself thinking, why did mom stop calling on Sundays? Why isn't dad tinkering in the garage anymore? Aging isn't a straight line. It's subtle shifts we often miss until it's too late. How do you know when someone you love is entering life's final chapter? Not in years, but in quiet, urgent signs. Today, I'll share 5 signals the body sends up to a year before the end. This isn't hospice dramates, the unspoken reality even doctors rarely mention. Did you know, for example, that an 80-year-old's sudden craving for sweets might not be a whim but a biological alarm? Or that grandpa's always cold hands aren't just poor circulation, but a clue decoded by Mayo Clinic researchers? We'll explore why Doris from Iowa stopped recognizing her own home a month before passing, how losing just 7 pounds turned Texas veteran Tom's life into a countdown clock, why Florida nurses whispered to families, listen to their breathing, it speaks louder than words. This isn't fear-mongering. It's about giving your loved one what matters most. Not more time, but a dignified final chapter, where every moment is filled with meaning, not fear. Ready to hear truths even top California hospitals won't say out loud? Don't touch that dial. In 15 minutes, you'll see aging through entirely new eyes. Sudden weight loss, the body's silent alarm. Picture this. Your 80-year-old dad from Nebraska who's always bragged about his appetite pushes away his steak plate, a favorite since 1965. Not hungry, he mutters. You brush it off as a mood, but a month later, his shirt hangs like a sack. This isn't pickiness. It's the body starting its countdown. Did you know losing just 7% of body weight in 6 months is a red flag, per Johns Hopkins? Muscles aren't vanishing from age, they're casualties of energy-saving mode. The gut absorbs nutrients like a cracked sponge. 80% goes to waste. Appetite fades not from stubbornness, but taste buds going quiet, like an old radio. Take Bob from Arizona, a Vietnam vet. He was chopping firewood at 75, but in a year, he lost 40 pounds, 18 kilograms. Family blamed old age until his doctor revealed the shocker. His body stopped processing protein. Every steak became poison, sparking silent inflammation. This isn't starvation, the doctor said. It's metabolic rebellion. Palliative Nutrition's secret playbook. Avocados aren't just superfoods. Their creamy texture tricks the brain, rejecting solids. Peanut butter fights silent hunger. 1 spoon equals calorie bomb. No chewing needed. Miami hospice hack. Coconut milk ice cubes. They melt slowly, fueling even those who've forgotten how to swallow. But the real secret isn't food. UCLA research proves nagging, eat just 1 bite spikes stress cortisol, speeding decline. Nurse Linda from Oregon shares, the best medicine? Sitting close, holding their hand, reminiscing about pancake Sundays. Sometimes a tear on the cheek nourishes the soul more than soup. Remember, the body isn't giving up, it's rewriting the rules. Your job isn't to force feed, but decode its Morse code. Because 2 walnuts in a palm sometimes mean more than a whole pie on the table. Deep fatigue. When energy fades. Imagine Jack from Colorado, retired firefighter, who once climbed 20 floors in full gear now, struggling to carry a coffee cup from the kitchen to the couch. His trembling hands aren't just aging. It's his mitochondria, the tiny powerhouses in his cells, shutting down factories. NIH research shows after 75, their activity drops 40%, turning simple tasks into marathons. But this isn't ordinary tiredness. It's the body switching to emergency power. The heart pumps 30% less blood per beat than at age 50. Lungs, like worn-out bellows, ration oxygen. Muscles lose myoglobin protein that keeps them charged. The result? A conversation feels like climbing Everest. Take Laura from Florida. At 78, she danced swing on the beach every morning. Now her day splits into before 11 a.m., when she can sit, and after, when even blinking exhausts her. Her daughter thought, Mom's just lazy, until an EKG revealed Laura's heart operates at 32% capacity. This isn't depression, her doctor said. Her body's saving energy for what matters, keeping her heart beating. Seattle Hospices Energy-Saving Secrets. Photo album therapy. Spread old photos where they're visible. Stanford researchers found seeing them cuts cortisol production by 17%. Audiobook detox. Voices like Morgan Freeman or a favorite NPR host reduce brain strain 4x compared to reading. Nurse Karen's hack. Place a heart-shaped heating pad in their chair. Warmth mimics hugs, slashing energy spent on staying warm. But here's the key. Stop saying, "Let's walk to the mailbox." Mayo Clinic studies prove pushing activity on a drained body triggers micro-stressors. Instead, try quiet connection. Trace words on each other's palms. Play Elvis concerts. Tap a kid's pianoid. Sparks brainwaves without strain. Remember, their fatigue isn't failure. It's wisdom redirecting resources, like a candle burning brightest before it fades. Your role? Don't force the flame, just mirror its glow, honoring every flicker until the last. Mental confusion. When the world slips away. Imagine 85-year-old Barbara, from Georgia history teacher for 40 years, suddenly forgetting her grandson's name. Her family panics, Alzheimer's. But an MRI reveals a shocking truth. Her brain isn't decaying, it's starving. Capillaries that once delivered oxygen now resemble overgrown trails. UCLA studies show after 80 blood flow to the brain drops 25%, like New York City, losing half its subway lines. This isn't dementia, it's a metabolic blackout. Neurons starved of glucose begin shutting down neighborhoods. First names fade, then the route to the mailbox. Finally, how to hold a fork. Dr. Sean from Minnesota's clinic compares it to a radio station. First, distant signals go, youthful memories. Then local channels, current events, until only static remains. Take Henry from Illinois, a Korean War vet. He once recounted battles in vivid detail. At 89, his speech became a puzzle. There, a green rain? His family bought expensive dementia meds until a scan revealed silent strochestany bleeds that switched off his speech center over 2 years. Neurohacks from San Francisco caregivers. Music therapy. Play songs from their teens. MIT research shows the Beatles or Elvis can reactivate dormant neural pathways. Touch code. Trace letters on their palm. This bypasses damaged brain areas by tapping into muscle memory. Memory triggers. Place vintage items like a Zippo lighter or old pin nearby. Smells and textures spark flashbacks, known as the Proust effect. But here's the golden rule. Never correct them. When Barbara calls her grandson by her late husband's name, hospice nurse Emily in Miami advises, agree. Say, yes, John would have loved that shirt. It's not a leads, a bridge to their reality. Remember, their mind is like an antique map. Labels fade, but the outlines remain. Your role isn't to redraw it, but to shine a light of love on the paths still visible. Because even in confusion's fog, emotions linger longest. A smile at Glenn Miller's In the Mood. A tear at the scent of apple pie. The heart's language outlives the brain's words. Frequent infections. When immunity stands down. Imagine 76-year-old Frank from Texas, a former mechanic who fixed tanks in 100-degree heat, now losing battles against the common cold. His once tough body surrenders to even yeast infections. This isn't weakness, it's immunity, like an old soldier laying down his rifle. NIH data shows after 70, T-cell activity drops 60%, leaving the body's fortress unguarded. But this isn't just getting sick often. It's a biological truce. Sensing life's final chapter, the body redirects resources from fighting to diplomacy. Macrophages that once devoured viruses now wave white flags. White blood cells, like weary medics, just tidy the battlefield. Take Edith from Ohio. A tiny cat scratch became a festering wound in weeks. Antibiotics failed until tests revealed her lymphocytes stopped dividing. This isn't infection, her hematologist said. Her body decided the war is over. New Mexico hospices defense strategies. Honey armor: apply manuka honey to wound sits enzymes, fight bacteria while immunity clocks out. Air support: use a salt lamp, microscopic salt particles / pneumonia risk by 22%. Mayo Clinic study. Nurse Louise's trick: cold black tea compresses for fever. Stanic acid acts as stealth antibiotics, sparing the liver. But here's the key: drop the fight at all costs mindset. When 80-year-old Martha from Kentucky got the flu, her son demanded IV drips. A Johns Hopkins doctor stopped him. Her body isn't asking for weapons, it wants peace. Give it silence and turmeric broth. Better than any vaccine. Remember, frequent infections aren't failure. They're the body's wise disarmament, choosing dignity over trench warfare. Your role? Don't push it to fight, be its peace negotiator. Because even a fading heart deserves its final beats to echo as a march of peace, not cries of pain. Breathing changes, the final rhythm. Imagine 89-year-old Eleanor from Vermont, who sang in her church choir for 60 years now, breathing like an out-of-tune metronome. Inhale, pause, inhale, gaps stretch to 20 seconds. Her hands are cold as mountain streams in April, lips tinged blue. This isn't nature's mistake, it's her heart, like a weary conductor, slowing the orchestra. Cleveland Clinic research shows in life's final months, breathing becomes a symphony of rest, with pauses the brain uses to reset. But this isn't just shortness of breath. It's the body's whispered farewell. Lungs, like deflated balloons, no longer fully expand. A weakened diaphragm leaves 30% of the work to rib muscles. CO2 builds up, triggering Cheyne-Stokes breathing, a pattern doctors call waves on sand before the tide retreats. Take Michael from Montana, a former Denali climber. At 92, he gasped like a fish on shore. His family begged for a ventilator until a pulmonologist explained, each labored breath caused pain. His body isn't begging for oxygen, it's asking for peace, the doctor said, starting a eucalyptus humidifier. Within an hour, Michael slept, smiling, his first rest in 6 months. Alaska hospices final breath wisdom. Elevated comfort. Prop the head at 35 degrees the angle, saving the diaphragm 40% energy. Johns Hopkins data. Scented ease. Add fir oil to a humidifier. Terpenes stimulate the trigeminal nerve, tricking the brain into feeling lungs full. Nurse Grace's ritual. Wrap feet in memory. Foam wool blankets warmth distracts the brain from hypoxia's alarms. But here's the key. Speak softly, hand on their chest. Hearing fades. Last Stanford neuroscientists proved even comatose brains recognize loved ones' voices. When Eleanor's breath grew jagged, her daughter hummed Amazing Grace, palm over her mother's heart. Each beat felt like a psalm verse, she recalls. Remember, final breaths aren't agony. They're a dance between worlds, each movement the body's conscious choice. Your role isn't to conduct, but to be a quiet accompanist. Like wind carrying an autumn leaf earthward without rushing its fall. Because even in apnea's silence, love echoes louder than any breath. Love as the ultimate medicine. Picture an Arizona sunset, where the sky's colors linger longer than the day itself. Life works the same way, its brightest hues often blaze just before fading into darkness. These 5 signs aren't doom's prophecies, but guiding lights placed in your hands. How to read them? Harvard found the answer. Patients whose families openly discussed death experienced 37% less pain in their final months. Take Clara from California. When her 90-year-old father started losing weight, she skipped tests and threw a week of sins. Ice cream at 2 a.m., John Wayne marathons, letters from his 1948. On his last day, he whispered, "This was my best year." Because love is the only nutrient absorbed even by dying cells. Dr. Erickson's Mayo Clinic. Time therapy, secrets. Music passcode. Find the song they kissed to at 16. Play it softly during bandage changes. Endorphins will dull pain better than morphine. Photo manifesto. Display 5 key life photos. They're a map guiding the brain toward peace. Key question. Dad, what did you dream about in 1955? Answers spark personality through illness's ashes. But here's the core. Don't wait for the right time. A Yale study found 89% nearing death want to laugh over blunder-spilled wedding wine, lost luggage in Rome, naming a son after the dog knot discussed disease. Your move? Comment below with the song that made your grandma dance at the first chord, Grandpa's hilarious phrase that became family legend, the sunset color you last watched together. Let every like be a virtual candle in your memory's chapel, every subscribe a vow to keep their stories alive. Remember, death only wins when we stay silent. Your words are their heart's echo, like Elvis's whisper from a vintage radio crackling, broken but sacred to someone.